Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. And in this video we're going to be talking about Returnal, and in particular we're going to be talking about the Tower of Sisyphus. Sissies? Tower of Sissies, that's what we're going to call it. Google, what you saying?
Sisyphus.
Thank you, Google. So, Tower of... We're just going to call it Tower of Sissies. It sounds so much better. Alright, so... what I would recommend as well, if you haven't finished the main story, please do. Because obviously, a lot of the lore translates to Tower as well. And it's just good practice for you. Especially for... obviously unlocking traits and weaponry and etc. So yeah, I would definitely finish the story and would recommend finish the story before you even bother trying to attempt the tower. So yeah, tower looks pretty straightforward. It's an endless mode that we got. It's almost been a month since Housemarque released this content, free as well, might I add. So hats off to them for that. Very grateful that they took the time and effort, and it is really good. It's very addictive. It's a lot of fun, especially when you get into the rhythm of the tower. So the main goal for the tower is to build a high score, and building that multiplier thick and fast, because higher multiplier means bigger score. It's going to help you out, and obviously you'll get there. It is a process. So I've got some tips for you that'll help you during your ascent in the tower. Alright, let's go. So first and foremost, especially if you're new, basic thing to do is just to get a lay of the land. It can be a little bit daunting, especially if it's your first time in the tower. What I would do is just familiarize yourself with everything that's going on, and just go from there. Just like I say, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to learn. You know, during your expedition. But there's some things that'll stay the same. For instance, this room right here, you'll always get during phase 1, room 2. So some of it will be quite familiar on your runs, but obviously the more runs you do, the more used to it you'll get. So yeah, that's the first thing I'll do. I wouldn't concentrate on anything else. Just get used to the infrastructure of the tower, see how it all works, familiarize yourself, and go from there. Alright? So like room 2, room 11, you'll always have this room. So you can grab an artifact over there. There'll be some weapon chests over here. And you can buy artifacts and integrity upgrades and damage upgrade as well. What I would suggest is always go for the damage. The integrity you will build as you progress. They are quite lenient with building your health bar, so I wouldn't bother. I would always choose to go for weapon damage every single time, just because as you progress in the phases, it's going to get harder, enemies are going to get tougher, so you want to build as much weapon damage stats as you can. Sometimes you'll get a room where you can only progress by picking one of the two, and sometimes it'll be max integrity and damage, sometimes it'll be max integrity and protection. Always either go for weapon damage or protection. It'll just help you out during your run on the later phases. So during the end of the phase, you'll come to a bit of a decision. You'll have 2 doors here, one to the left, which you do need a key for, and one to the right. Now, when I first started playing, I thought they portaled you to the same one, but I was wrong. So if you go to the left, you will need a key, like I say. You'll get a disgorger, and you'll go to an item room for some pickups. And on the right hand side, that'll take you to another enemy room, which is really good. So most of the time what I do is I'll pop the key in the door, just grab the disgorger, and then I'll go to the right hand side. And I'll go to the right hand side primarily if my multiplier is low or if my score needs a boost. So if you're looking, for that and to increase, your stats a little bit longer you run, I would recommend going to the door on the right, just so you can increase your multiplier, just so you can boost your score a little bit. Also, just make sure you're taking regular breaks. The tower can get quite intense, it can get quite grueling, and especially if you're on a really good run, a really long run, some of them can take hours. I mean, get like to 300 million That guy said it took him like 12 hours. So yeah, just make sure you are hydrating yourself. You take a break from your screen every now and again, and come back refreshed, crack on, and go again. So sometimes during your run, you'll come across these rooms called, or what I like to call them, the tricky laser rooms. So you'll get a shield vial. Usually there'll be like a key chest for like a weapon or disgorger. It'll start off quite easy. You can dash through the lasers, but as you can see here for this template, dash is disabled. You should be quite familiar with this. So obviously this game is all built around risk and reward. So if you're wondering what you get, usually you get oblite chunks, and you can get an artifact at the top, which can be a game changer for your build, especially if you can get resinous shields. I used to be against going all the way to the top of these rooms because I thought, well, I can't sacrifice my adrenaline or my shield, so I wouldn't bother. But as I gained more confidence, I explored a little bit more. These rooms do get more trickier as you go on, but I would highly recommend checking these rooms out, as the benefits may have a massive difference to your run. So those first tips were just to let you know how the tower works, just so you get a sense of feel what you're going to come up against. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. Now we're going to speak about how you're going to really make a difference, really make a dent in the leaderboards, how you're going to smash those high scores, how you're going to get the multipliers up, etc. What you're going to need now to really get yourself moving forward in the tower. So first and foremost, the aim of the game is just to be quick. So you want to be clearing out rooms as fast as possible, and you don't want to be dawdling. Don't worry about what these peasants drop for oblites. Don't even bother. You want to just be killing him as quickly as possible, getting in, getting out. So that is the main function at the start. So just killing him as fast as possible and getting to the translocator. Hey buddy, take it easy. So once you've killed them all, get the translocator, get out. Now, it will give us a speed bonus as 50. That wasn't the cleanest room I've ever done in my life, but this is just for all intents and purposes, just to show you that what the enemies drop is nothing compared to what the speed bonuses drop. So you do get a speed bonus for oblites of 50, then if you take more time it'll go down to 25 and down to 10. So don't stick around whatever they drop for health, proficiency, weapons. You'll get all that during your run. Just kill, get out, and make sure you're getting the bonus. They will really make a difference when it comes to buying items. And obviously things might get a little bit expensive, things might take a turn, you might get a malfunction. So yeah, just make sure you're quick, get to the translocator as quickly as possible. The only time I would say Dwandle is like maybe a little bit later on, when you need like resin for resinous shields, or if you need health. But most of the time during like the first 3 phases, you should be just concentrating on clearing out the rooms as fast as possible, getting to translocator, getting your bonus, and just rinse and repeat that format. So apart from being fast, the next thing that you really want to concentrate is the multiplier. As you can see, the multiplier is just below the score, and you are your own bodyguard to protect the multiplier. And I'm going to go through how it works and some of the stuff that you need to look out for, and how it can decrease. So one of the things it can decrease, as you can see, is going down because I'm taking too long to kill the enemies, and it'll start going down. Another way it can also decrease is if you take too long to exit a room. So as you can see, it's decreasing. So I'm taking too long to get to the translocator. So again, coming back to being quick. You just want to be clearing out and make sure that you're keeping your multiplier as high as possible. So another thing to look out for on the multiplier is these bonus arrows. As you can see here, they're full. The only way that these are going to disappear is if you get hit. So just try to be always on the move, because obviously these bonus arrows will make the difference on your score as well. So as you can see here, now they've disappeared because we got hit, and we got hit again. So you'll obviously have to get more kills to build them up. So just make sure you're always on the move, and you always make sure you're protecting your bonus arrows as well as your multiplier at the same time. Another thing you want to do really early on and concentrate the early phases is trying to get air melee kills. And the reason for that is I'm going to show you. As you can see, going up by 3 there, got hit, and we're going up by 3. Now if you get a standard kill, let's just get this turret. So as you can see, it only goes up by 1. But if I'm going to hit this lad over here, so by 3, and obviously the bigger your bonus multiplier is as well, that can sometimes go up to 8. So that's just another quick tip. What I see a lot of the top 1%, and what I've started to get in the habit as well, is if I get hit during like phase 1, I'll reset. For the purpose of that is just to keep the multiplier, just to keep the bonus arrows. You know, don't sacrifice your adrenaline, don't sacrifice your integrity. If you get hit, just reset and just practice doing melees. You don't have to do every single kill as a melee kill, but you want to predominantly concentrate on, when you can, especially during phase 1 and the beginning of phase 2, and just when you can during the other phases, just trying to get as many air melees as you can, because those will really boost your score and really boost your multiplier. And that's where you're really going to see a difference, especially when you get to Algos. Now, when I started to get to Algos in the first couple of runs, I was 500,000. Now I'm getting to Algos with like 1 million, and that's by using the air melees and using the door to the right that we spoke about. Just have a couple of practice runs every now and again, you know, just trying to practice your air melees. It can be a little bit tricky, you know, especially in this game. Maybe have a couple of practice runs, you know, just to try to get that down, because like I say, that is going to really help you with your multiplier and with your score as well. So the next thing that you want to be doing is stacking your shields and stacking your disgorgers. So as you can see here, we're on phase 4 and we have 10 shields and 8 disgorgers, which is pretty good. So the only time I'd really say that you can use shield is when you face Algos. You do get one as a freebie. That'll be good to keep your multiplier going, just keep it nice and healthy and keep it steady. So yeah, you shouldn't really be using shields primarily if you can help it until you get to phase 4. So everything after that can get a little bit spicy, can get a little bit tough as well. Disgorgers as well, I would really recommend not using against Algos. I see a lot of players using it against Algos. He's not really tough. You should have the weapon and the advantage over him to defeat him pretty easily. So the Disgorgers, you need to be really saving for the really tough rooms, especially when you get like 2 malformed enemies and you're in a bit of a tight spot. So yeah, just get in the habit of stacking your shields, only using it against Algos, only using it from phase 4 onwards, and only using the Disgorgers on the rooms. Get in the habit of that as well at the same time. So the next thing that I suggest you start doing is start unlocking the weapon trades. As you can see here with the Electron Pylon driver, we're yet to unlock the Pylon Web at level 1. So you should have unlocked most of them. So for some of the weapons, depending on which ones you've been using, so the Holoseeker, the Carbine, etc., or the Dreadbound, you want to be unlocking at least tier 3 and minimum tier 2 traits. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can do this either by doing the campaign again, or you can do this by simply doing the tower, and when you do your runs and you kill your enemies, you will just advance with those traits, and trust me, you'll just start melting enemies and the tower will be somewhat easier. But yeah, I definitely suggest just go and lock up traits, like I said, to tier 2 and 3, just to make your life a lot more easier. So now we're going to talk about the best weapons for the tower. Now, when I was playing the campaign, I was pro Carbine and pro Holoseeker, and I was using those constantly because they were really good. But with the tower, you're going to have to step outside your comfort zone a little bit, because I'll be honest, the top 1% are using, at least these 3 weapons to get really good scores, especially the Dreadbound. It's coming to its own with the tower, especially if you get like 4th shard, staggering, protection, if any of these traits really are amazing. But with the Dreadbound, you do have to be quite aggressive in a sense. But when you get like a good level 45 one, the shards come back pretty fast. So in that sense, you can be a little bit more distant. I'm still yet to find my rhythm with the Dreadbound. So for myself, I'm using the Pyroshellcaster, which is like a grenade launcher, and the Electropylon driver. I really felt those 2 are really good during like the later stages, so from like phase 4 onwards, especially if you can get a Pyroshell with like simmering damage. It's just insane. It just melts enemies. It's crazy. But again, when you do your runs, you know, you'll find the weapons that you'll come into your own the most. There's some weapons on this list I just refuse to use, like the Coil Spine. I just no. The Rotland, no, don't use that one. A good Thermogenic's good if you can get good full auto replicating. That's always good, but the Thermogenic without full auto is just completely useless. See a lot of people using the Hollow Seeker. I mean, it's good. Even with the Portal Beam and Portal Turret, it does the damage, the DPS does start to drop off during the later phases, so you're gonna have to experiment with different weaponry. Like I said on the last tip, unlocking those traits will make you have a little bit more ease with weapons that you didn't think you would like. I've seen people get to 31 million with a good Tachyon Carbine, but like I say, if you want to get to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, it's all about the Electropylon Driver, the Dreadbound, the Pyro Shell. I haven't seen many people use the Coils. Maybe that's a sign. Good Thermogenic again, like I say, that's always a decent one. So like I say, you just need to experiment with your runs, see what weapons work best for you, try to unlock those traits, and hopefully that will help you on your run. So a tip I learned from someone else is to learn enemy attack patterns, movements, and animations. So most of the enemies you should recognize from the campaign, but Housemarque have been kind enough to throw in some new adversaries just to make things just a little bit more interesting. So for instance, there's these like larger squid mini boss type onion enemies. Is the best description I can give you. And also, as you can see here, there's these new kind of tanky scorpion turtle looking thingies, and they soak up damage like no man's business, let me tell you. So what I would do is just familiarize yourself with their attack patterns, how they move, when to dodge, what to dodge. Obviously, the more runs you do, the more practice you have. You'll come up with different strategies to defeat them quite easily. As you can see, there are various attack patterns at their disposal. So yeah, definitely familiarize yourself with those just so you can be one step ahead of them and not the other way around. So another quick one as well is just to keep calm during the tower. I know things can get a little bit intense as we discussed, but a lot of times when I've been doing runs and I've just kept my head down and I've been a little bit more blasé about the runs, I seem to perform better, because I think being cool, calm and collected during those tense situations, you need a cool head to get yourself out as well. There's a lot of grapple points in the areas as well, so you could always grapple, reposition and go again. Just make sure you put the heat on the enemies and not the other way around. So another piece of advice I can give you is to start watching like the top 1%. I've picked up some really general good tips from these guys and girls, and it is also fun to watch them. They're also really entertaining and they're fantastic streamers as well. I could only get Crumbly Butt, who we're watching now, permission to use the stream, but I will link some other streamers as well that I've been watching recently, because they're just absolutely amazing. They're hitting the high 60s, 70s. Even Crumbly's hitting triple digits now. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, stay for the entertainment, and also stay to pick up some tips as well. They're fantastic people, really nice streamers. So yeah, that's another thing as well. It's quite an easy thing to do. You can just sit back and relax, just watch their techniques, watch their strategies, see how they're building their multiplier so high, how they're getting that big score, what they're doing to really make a difference in the leaderboard as well. Just to let you know as well, like, not every single run you're going to have is going to be like an amazing run, like high millions or like kind of jazz. You're allowed to have a terrible run every now and again. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't worry about it too much. It's not on you. You just need to learn from your mistakes, reset your cycle, or just die if you feel like it's a bad run, and go at it again with a fresh mind. The worst thing you could do is just get really pent up about it, and then you'll start making mistakes and it'll just go from bad to worse. In terms of like practicing and learning from those mistakes, what I like to do, I don't think a lot of people probably use this, but I like to save the footage on the PlayStation. and then review it. So if I felt like I could have done better, or if I need to practice a certain room or an enemy, I'll review it. I'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I could have taken this angle, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. And I'll go in, and next time I'll be set because, you know, I've practiced, I've reviewed it. I'm like, right, going back in, I know what I need to do now. Returnal's a very hard game, so yeah, just go back at it, fresh set, and you'll be absolutely fine. Last but not least, is always to be at full health, and for the sole purpose of to get resin, especially if you got resin as shield as an artifact, because if you're not at full health, the game will just drop you Silphium to heal yourself. So just make sure you're at full health at all times. Also see a lot of players going around with like just above their first health bar, and it just gives me anxiety watching, because especially when you get to the later phases, like you will just get hit twice and that is the end for you. So don't put yourself under that pressure. Just make sure, you know, you're at full health at all times. You know, you're going around picking up the resin just to make life a lot easier for yourself during your ascent. Well, I hope this video helps you along your route to your ascension in Returnal. I have deliberately missed a couple of things, or quite a few things on purpose. But you'll figure them out during your trial and error runs. And I wanted this primarily to be just a quick, useful guide for beginners, or anyone generally who needs to pick up a, you know, quick tip here and there. There's a lot the tower doesn't tell you, and I think that's really good, because, you know, during your runs, you know, you will pick up new things as well. And that's what makes it really special. That's what makes it really addictive to go back in again and again and again and pick up new, you know, new pointers every single time. So yeah, that's yeah, it's just so good, man. It's just having so much fun with the tower, and I hope you do too. I hope you are having a lot of fun with the tower. Yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, go follow me on Twitch, where I do my tower runs. I stream every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Links will be posted in the description below. I'll see you in the next video. Go out there and smash those scores, guys.